Well, today we're going to talk about the very best looking games that we have currently in VR. We're talking about the most realistic graphics, or the games that just draw you in so heavily through their graphical fidelity that really that adds to the immersion of the experience. Now, as we all know, you don't need high fidelity graphics to make a game great, but it really does help just a little bit. But before we dive into that, I'll ask you one small favour to smash like, subscribe, and maybe even hit the hype button, whatever the hell that is, and I'd massively appreciate it as we're on our road to 100k. But before we do dive into the main video itself, I want to thank today's channel sponsor, Rager. Rager drops you into pure heart-pounding chaos, where every swing, strike, and every moment is driven by the music. This is a rhythm action brawler where the world literally builds itself around you, then dissolves the moment you conquer it. You'll be fighting through a full campaign of handcrafted levels, taking on massive boss battles, and mastering the whole lineup of weapons. From claws, fists, and for close-up brutality, heavy axes and hammers that are devastating in sweeping hits. And after you're done, you can jump into the freestyler or load in your own music into the level editor to create a battlefield for yourself. If you want 360 combat, intense scoring, and a game that syncs with your senses, well, Rager is waiting for you. This is a rhythm game that genuinely captured me, so I'm more than happy to recommend it to you guys. Of course, you can find links to this in the description or in the pinned comments if you want to go download it for yourself today. A massive thank you to Rager for sponsoring today's video. And now let's dive into the very first game on the list. First up on the list, we have Star Wars Squadrons. Now, this throws you straight into the cockpit from the fantasy that every single Star Wars fan has ever wanted since, well, childhood. Visually, this nails the look of the iconic starfighters. Everything inside the cockpit is sharp, glowing, blinking, and every tiny little detail makes it feel like the real machine that you're responsible for. Outside the canopy, it's absolute chaos in the best way. Lasers ripping past, ships exploding, debris floating by, and massive capital ships lumbering through the battle. And the best part, the visuals aren't just for show, they actually make the dogfighting feel more intense, satisfying, and well, what more could you ask for? When you're banking through the laser fire or skim a Star Destroyer, it just feels so freaking immersive, and honestly just an incredibly well done VR game. It's a genuine shame that this game doesn't get more love. Next up, we have Hubris, and this is VR's version way of saying sort of like, hey, look at what my PC can do. Well, it can also run pretty freaking incredible well when it comes to the Quest and also the PSVR 2. But nonetheless, I mean, hands down, the PC has sort of like the gauntlet for being the best looking when it comes to VR gaming. It's bold, bright, ridiculously detailed, and honestly feels like a tech demo wrapped up inside of this sci-fi adventure. The water looks real enough to friggin' drink, the alien planet looks like they're part of an expansive CGI movie, every single surface is smooth, ultra clean, shiny, and the entire universe just feels like it was freshly polished just before you arrived. But beyond just the visuals, Hubris also mixes in platforming, exploration, and shooting in that sort of surprisingly fun package. It's not just a good looking game, it's also actually a really fun game from start to finish as well. This one's just absolutely worth a recommend from me, and just genuinely stunning. Really good game. Next up, we have Kayak VR Mirage. Well, holy crap. Kayak VR is one of those games that you put the headset on, sit back in a kayak, and immediately say, oh, okay, this is what VR is supposed to look like. The water tech here is just absolutely bloody insane. Reflections, ripples, bubbles, and the surface tension. It all just adds up to be one of the most immersive experiences. It all feels like you're actually outdoors and you're actually going to get sunburnt because the environments just look so damn photorealistic, especially in the sort of stormy or sunset lighting. Man, it just makes you feel like you're actually there, and you have to remind your brain sometimes that, hey, I'm not actually here, this is virtual reality. The cool thing about this as well is you can take it absolutely chill and just explore some of these insanely beautiful environments, or you can race for time. It's really down to you whether you just want to vibe with the scenario or want to actually sort of like take in and play the game. For me personally, I've spent way too much time just exploring these places and finding some of the cool Easter eggs that they have hidden around, from like killer whales jumping up to penguins bouncing off of things to massive ice glaciers falling down. This game just kind of has it all, and it just does such an incredible job at doing it. Next up, we have one of my favourite games from the PSVR 2, and that is Horizon Call of the Mountain. Now, Call of the Mountain is the equivalent of a studio saying like, right, we're going friggin' all in, we're going to bring our AAA game into virtual reality, and let's see how we can do that. The machines in this are bloody gigantic, they're hyper detailed, and just super intimidating when you're up close to these things. The forests look dense and alive, shifting light, moving through the foliage. Climbing cliffs, it just gives you that sort of hugely cinematic moment inside of this game as well. And the views that you can just see out across the entire landscape you're in, they all just feel so damn well handcrafted, and it just comes together so perfectly. This game isn't just beautiful, it's stupidly fun to play, and it's continually sort of like challenging you, the user, to sort of figure out how you're going to defeat the next machine, as well as how you're even going to get to the next place that you're going to be going against these beautiful towering machines that really are a force to be reckoned with. If you just take a few seconds to also interact with the environment around you, they have so many things that add just that immersive layer to this, from painting, little drums that you can tap, things that you can pick up and interact with, apples, you know, it just, the list goes on. The only thing that lets this game down is it does suffer from a bit of reprojection. I'd really wish that they would do a patch to fix this, as so many other games have learned how to actually fix this problem now. If Guerrilla's listening, please, I beg you, actually address this, and this might be one of the best games that we currently have on PSVR 2. Next up, we have Batman Arkham Shadow. Now this one really is the Quest absolutely flexing every little bit of power that it has left inside of it to make this game look as good as it does running on standalone VR. This really just brings Gotham to life, and not just that, it also brings Batman to life, where you have all these dynamic shadows that are working with you, the incredible lighting inside of this game that just sort of really matches the environment you're in, making you just feel like you're proper sort of grounded inside of this universe. Through rain, fog, and everything else that you can expect to be seeing in this, it just absolutely nails it. Also, I think some of the sort of character creation that they did inside of this game really works super well. It really does feel like the Arkham universe, whether you're on the rooftops, alleyways, indoor environments, or like say actually face to face with some of the most iconic characters from the Arkham games. This just feels like it was absolutely lovingly made, and it really shines that they were able to push the Quest this far. So congrats to them, and also it's an absolute dynamite game, one of my favorites, so definitely get it on your list to experience at least once in your life. Next up, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator, and honestly this game is just, it's actually ridiculous how good this game can look if you have the horsepower in your PC to be able to run it. Flying in VR is just absolutely mind-blowing, going over real cities, real mountains, real cloud systems, and all of this being blended together in a sort of endless horizon where it's actually rendering the whole world where you can just go off and explore your planet. It's just such an incredible experience, from the lighting that just kind of sells everything, the sunsets, storms, dawny flights. Man, this game just gets that aesthetic so freaking beautifully. And not just that, the exciting news is this is actually going to be leaving just being PCVR very soon and be coming over to the PSVR 2 so that everyone could experience this. Personally, I'm very excited to see what they do with this on the PSVR 2, because it could be one of those absolute system seller games that will bring a lot of sim enthusiasts into the sort of PS ecosystem, and I think it could be incredible for us all. Next up, we have No Man's Sky VR. Well, this one's just a no-brainer. This game looks absolutely stunning, but with their recent updates where they sort of are using the power if you're lucky enough to have a PS5 Pro, my goodness, this game just gets stepped the hell up. They're also using some sort of super sampling from PlayStation as well now, which just makes this game look second to none. If you haven't jumped in this in the last sort of 6 months or so, I highly recommend you dive back into it, because it's just freaking gorgeous. It feels like an absolute neon dream, and of course, like everything you get to do in this as well is just, there's just so much to it, whether you want to be crafting, exploring, going out and doing missions, if you want to get in there and multiplayer, if you want to just build a goddamn city on a planet that you find, well, you can. And that's one of the reasons I love the endless creativity that goes inside of sort of No Man's Sky VR, and it's why I highly recommend that you try this. I actually think the PS version of this now is sort of like actually topping the PC, just purely because of all that super sampling features and everything. It just really polishes this game up and just makes it look friggin' fantastic. Next up, we have Stormland, and this is just a clean, smooth visual style that sort of both that sci-fi and nature at the same time. Floating islands, misty clouds, lush vegetation, and all of that just bringing this sort of sense of this peaceful beauty wrapped up inside what is actually a pretty insane game. But then you'll be diving off cliffs, climbing through mad structures, and sort of, you know, well, fighting other robots as the game uses that sort of visual and movements to its absolute sort of best qualities. They just do an incredible job of making this visually stunning. But Stormland isn't just a pretty world, it's also a playground designed to make sort of traversal super fun. You'll glide, climb, grind, and zip your way around, and the visuals just kind of tie it all together, making that motion feel weightless, fluid, and just an incredibly gorgeous experience. This was actually taken off the store for a while, now it's back, so for anyone who doesn't know, you can actually pick this game up again now off of the Oculus store and get playing, and I highly recommend you do. Next up would be a no-brainer not to mention mention these, and that of course is Lone Echo 1 and 2. Lone Echo is basically a showcase of just how good VR could actually be, and not just how good VR can actually be, but the faces of the characters, the animation, and just the depth of it. I mean, literally you can poke the main character in the face, she will react to that situation in a bunch of different ways. It's just so clever how they've done this. Olivia feels like a real person standing in front of you for the majority of this game. It is just so incredible to feel this in-depthly sucked into a universe. The lighting inside the space station is subtle but cinematic, the reflections, the metal textures, the floating debris, everything just feels super damn premium inside of this. Then on top of that you have the zero gravity mechanics that just make it feel, you know, amazing and make you actually feel weightless to do this, slowly moving through scenes through this sort of highly story driven sci-fi adventure with just a little touch of horror on top. I just love this experience. It will forever be my top experience list right there, because it's some of the VR that genuinely convinced me what VR could be, and I think what VR will be in the future. Then again, of course, I can't make a list like this without mentioning Half-Life Alyx, one of the all-time games that I think everyone in the world will compare every game to ever, probably until Valve pull their finger out their bum and actually make another game. Alyx is, well, a champ because it is a champ. It's just a great game in every way possible, filled with detail, clutter, grime, physical objects, and subtle lighting. Nothing feels random or rushed. The game just feels absolutely perfectly designed. The game's lighting and the environmental storytelling is just what makes this game so alive and feels just lived in. Not like this sort of abandoned tech demo, but more like something you actually can get in and just explore, touch and feel. This is just one of those games that if you own a VR headset, you need to just try this, please. It's a very well optimized game, and even lower end PC systems can still have an incredible experience inside of this game. And of course, if you're lucky enough to have a high-end PC on top of that, well then this is just an absolute no-brainer. Now that is the 10 games that I wanted to put on this list, but I'll be honest with you, this was probably one of the ones I struggled with the most, as we have a ton of awesome experiences inside of VR. So I do have some honourable mentions just to drop in at the end here, starting off with Gran Turismo. Holy crap, this game is what made me love racing in virtual reality. Before this, I really couldn't have cared much about sim games, but Gran Turismo just absolutely turned that corner for me, which is a terrible pun, but it really did. It's just a gorgeous cockpit experience. It's just a gorgeous experience inside of the cockpit of all these different vehicles, getting to experience stuff that I may never have if I hadn't been able to do it in this game, and I just think it's just an easy one for me to recommend to you guys and girls. Next up we have Behemoth as well. This is just that gorgeous massive environment, heavy atmosphere, brutal combat wrapped up inside this sort of dynamic visuals while you're going against actual literal behemoths. Played on the right system, as this is available on all systems, but if you play this on something like PC or PSVR 2, oh my god, chef's kiss, as it just looks stunning. And for another Star Wars game to make it onto the list, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge. This is also another really solid game that is vibrant, fun, cinematic, and just packed with Star Wars charm. I bloody love this game. It's one I've made a bunch of time for to play on various different systems at this point, and it's one I easily recommend if you're a Star Wars fan. Get this, it's available on like all platforms at this point. Next up we have Subside. Now actually this is like this really peaceful underwater visual showcase. That's why I didn't make it onto the main list for me personally, just because it feels like a bit more of a tech demo-y sort of showcase game than it does a complete game like the others that I currently had on the main top 10 slot. But nonetheless, this is one to make time for because it is stunning in every way possible. There's some moments in this, again, sort of like Kayak, where you genuinely forget that you're in a VR game and you're just lost inside of this absolutely gorgeous world. Highly recommend you give it a go, but just don't expect the most high-end, in-depth experience. It's just a very visually stunning game. And last but not least, well, it's another Star Wars game. It's Vader Immortal. If you play this, it's just a great game to start with. All 3 chapters of this are friggin' fantastic to get into. It's such a cinematic experience that really makes you feel like you're actually stepping into this universe, meeting Vader, of course, and becoming a Jedi. Holy crap, it just feels so damn good. This is a experience that everyone, again, needs to get in their life at least once, and regardless to whether you play this on Quest or PC, it's definitely just one to pick up. And there you have it, guys. That is all the games that I could muster up to put on this list. There are still a ton more, and if you have any suggestions, then feel free to leave them in the comments down below and let everyone else know what other games you think are visually stunning and definitely earn a place on this list. Other than that though, guys and girls, I will catch you in the next video. Please do consider smashing that like button if you enjoyed this, subscribing if you are new, hype button because why the hell not, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out, bye.